Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Wealthy Wednesday to everyone, and welcome to our live weekly money and abundance manifesting training that we have every Wednesday. I have it after my mastermind in the morning, so it's usually at 1:30, sometimes a little bit later. I am going to log on here to see what this looks like, because we are on StreamYard again, so we can reach more audiences. So when you guys pop on, let me know, say hello, let me know that you're there. Right now I have comments up, but again, this is the second time I have used StreamYard, so I cannot guarantee that I'm going to see your comments, which is why I am getting on my computer as well to see if I can catch you guys. If you have any comments, I'll be able to see them at least hopefully on here. And because what we do on this Money in Abundance training is I take your questions about manifesting and money in abundance. And essentially, so I am a mindset mentor, a transformational specialist, a manifesting coach. I'm also an intuitive psychic medium, a channel, an angel, an animal communicator, and an empath. So one of the things that I do is I teach spiritual or spiritually minded entrepreneurs to build, create prosperity from their businesses, from their gifts, right? And so one of my inspirations for actually starting this broadcast was the fact that I found so many of the spiritual entrepreneurs were struggling to create prosperity in their business, right? They either believed that money in abundance was mutually exclusive, which is not. Hello, who's ever there? Popping on my computer so I can see who's actually joining me here. Or they had, blocks with money in abundance. Oh, Susie, it's working. Yay, welcome. So here I am every Wednesday. Um, you know, the combination of, being able to answer your questions about manifesting and, using my intuitive abilities and being a person that, struggled myself having a spiritually minded, conscious business, not knowing how to get the business end of it in, really hit home with me. And so I'm on here every Wednesday so that, those of you who believe that money and spirituality is mutually exclusive, or those of you who don't know how to close those energy leaks or those money and abundance blocks so that you can overcome that and really slip into the reality of abundance is my priority here. So, anyone can do it. Money is just energy, guys. Money is neutral, and it responds to the person who is yielding it. So, if you are a spiritually minded person, or you have a spiritual service or practice or gift that you're wanting to share, and you would love to spend your time doing that instead of also working a side hustle, extra jobs that you feel are not how you'd like to be spending your time, are not your best ways of utilizing what you believe your life purpose and mission is, then, this is a great broadcast for you, because that's exactly what we work on. Okay, and really it's just a matter of what you believe and your habits and practices, the results that you get, right? So I'm here to help you get over that. If you have any questions during the broadcast and you want to post them or ask me, I'm happy to answer them live for you. This is a free online event, right, to help you. There's also other opportunities for you. If you'd like to get some more intense help without the cost, you can type money in the comments, and I will message you a gifted spot for the Money Magnet Accelerator that is coming up June 21st through the 24th. We work intensely together for 5 days with a small group of like-minded people to help you get really clear on what you want, what is keeping you from the money and abundance that you want, and to help you work through those. And then if this is something that you feel ready to pursue, I have other opportunities of varying price and time investments that will allow you to actually follow through with that, so you can really turn yourself into a money magnet. Okay, but those are limited spaces. So if you guys want a space in that money magnet accelerator, I will not be doing it again till later in July. Then you need to just post money in the comments. Okay, if you are interested in just more the spiritual side, training and awakening your intuition, learning to turn your empathic abilities into a superpower, then I would hop on over to the Larkin Psychic Medium Spiritual Interpreter page. I'm going to be doing card readings over there later and answering metaphysical questions. So before we get into talking about money today, again, if you guys listened to the broadcast I did a couple days ago, the last couple of months have been super challenging for me. They've been challenging for me as well. And, one of the challenges was, really being laser focused to shoot through these, not only the contradictions that people have about, money and abundance, but also, in scaling my own business, I'm shifting into having a lot of technology added to my business. And, you have to be careful when you're doing that, because it can hurt the organic integrity of your business, right? Of your service. And that's essentially what happened. So I had to find a balance for that. But what came out of that realization was a reminder of what I've always been trying to practice and give you guys, which is that balance between the consciousness, the spirituality, and the science of manifesting, the intuitive part and the mindset part, and then how that has to literally be integrated. And I do not see a lot of people teaching and coaching that. Dr. Wayne Dyer did. A lot of the other great teachers teach this, but it's important because you are a whole being. You are a multi-dimensional being. You are not just a cognitive, mental being. You are not just a spiritual being, right? And so we have to nurture and water all these different sides in order to not just get the results we're seeking, because it's not just about the results, even though I'm very results oriented, but it's also about doing it authentically, so that it lasts, so that it brings the greatest joy, the greatest abundance, and not making things so hard, right? Really, I should have brought my blanket. I hear the sun is really hot on me, on my legs. Um, so that everything is not a hustle. We're really raised to believe that anything worth anything means that, we are working really, really hard for it. And yes, you have to work hard to achieve certain things, but it shouldn't have to be a struggle, right? When it's a struggle, it means we're dealing with the mindset stuff. And so many people struggle with money and abundance, especially spiritually minded people. So these broadcasts are especially for those of you who are sensitives, who are empaths, who are intuitive, who, feel like you're the black sheep, because it's easy for us to look at the world and say, well, they're normal, or they fit in, or they fit into the normal flow of things, or, that's easy for them because they grew up with this and that or whatever. And, those facts might very well be true, but they're also excuses. Our reasons are excuses. If you truly want to utilize your gifts and what brings you the most joy and the most fulfillment, and at the same time bring in money, create success, which means living life on your terms, and really creating an abundant life. Guys, everything you want is under the umbrella of abundance. So abundance is not just money. Abundance is not just love. Abundance is health, wealth, joy, prosperity, success, being around loved ones, feeling fulfilled, having more than enough of all of that. And the truth is, you already have more than enough of all of it. You just don't recognize it. And 95% of manifesting is the allowing part. Okay? And most people do not realize that. Most people, my phone is in the sun all of a sudden. Most people do not realize that the majority of manifesting is actually the allowing part. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to go get my hat and put it over here, guys. I tried to set everything up today so my phone was in the shade, so I could have you all outside with me. And it's just not. I might have to scoot up a little bit. Hold on, bear with me, guys. Sorry. I wanted you guys to be out here in the lovely outdoors today with me. And I set this up in the shade, and you know what? The sun has moved already. So you might have an interesting time with that. Let me see if I can scoot this up a little bit. I might have to go get the cover for my chair, guys. Sorry. I can't even see you anymore. The sun is so bright. So, this is a really important that conceptually you guys grasp this. You grasp this whole concept of, that money in abundance is not exclusive, that, this is all part of having it all, okay? And you can. So, yeah, it is gorgeous, Susie. It is absolutely gorgeous here. The cicadas are going to town, singing up a storm, and it is just, it's like the perfect day, which is why I wanted to be outside. But my deck gets super hot. So, I think I am going to have to put you guys on pause for a moment. I apologize, and go in and get the hat to cover up this, because the shade has completely disappeared here. Sorry, guys. I'll be right back. Don't mean to be rude. Alright, guys. I'm sorry, my friends. The best of intentions here, but I'm like trying to hide over in the shade now. So thank you for staying with me, Susie. Woo. So, good. This doesn't cover you guys up too much. Hopefully that'll keep my fan kind of from getting too hot. So, one of the things is that, we sort of follow the belief system that the majority of people in our crowd follow when it comes to our beliefs about anything, not just money and abundance, right? And so what ends up happening is, if you are working with, other spiritual entrepreneurs, or you have friends who are, other empaths and things like that, who are, under the belief, or they have been taught by teachers and whatnot, that, you can't be spiritual or have a spiritual practice or make money doing what's spiritual, then it's going to be easier for us to believe that and to fall into that, right? Because we end up being the sum of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. So if we want to make that change, we have to make that leap one person at a time. And that becomes very challenging because we have a comfort zone of people we're usually with. We're telling ourselves things that we have already said, shared, or believed with that misery loves company crowd. And so these things are ingrained in us. They're hardwired, right? So one of the things, I'd ask you to do is, and it's something I have my clients do in the first week that they work with me, is to become really aware of your habits of thinking. What is your self-talk during the day? And to be quite honest, most people think they know, and most people do not know. Most people are not really truly aware of what they're thinking and saying to themselves on a daily basis, right? Or those patterns. And so, it's very important to recognize what are the patterns. Now, another level of that is when we start to make excuses and we start to argue our limitations. You like my owl cup? I love my owl cup. So we start to argue our limitations. And the mind will always argue what it believes. The mind will always argue its limitations because that is how it keeps you in your comfort zone, right? So, for example, I can have somebody during a psychic reading or discovery call or a coaching session, keep saying to me, well, I really need to work on the guilt over money. I need to work on the guilt over money. I need to work on the guilt over money. And they'll keep bringing that up, sharing with me that they feel the guilt over money. However, if I then respond with something in regards to that, in regards to I bring up the guilt over money, what happens is that person's mind, that person's ego, right, that's trying to get in the way of things, will then pop up and say, the person might even say something to me like, well, I don't really think the guilt isn't because of this. I had a reading client do this just the other day. The guilt isn't because of this. It's because of such and such. And they downplay it. I called this person out on it. I usually do. It depends on how it's going to affect the reading. If the person is, going to be very defensive and it's not going to serve the person, I won't call them out on it. But if I can feel that it's going to help the person, then I will. And then we had to go over the fact that, she was saying how guilty she felt, how guilty she felt, how guilty she felt. But then when I brought up guilt, it was, oh no, it's not really a big deal. It's only this and this. Okay. So I want you guys to think about in your own life, if you're monitoring what you're thinking, because your life is the result of your thoughts and feelings, the habits of your thoughts, feelings, choices, and actions, and beliefs. But what are beliefs? Beliefs are just repeated thoughts. Okay? But in this assessment of yourself, ask yourself if someone was to say something to you, like maybe when you're alone, you're radically honest. You can say, well, I'm not doing this because I feel guilty, or I'm doing this only because I feel guilty. You might even say it to someone else, but if they bring it up to you, what does that do? That creates resistance, doesn't it? All of a sudden, you're on the other side of the coin. I remember doing this with relationships all the time. I might call my mom or my sister and complain about something someone was doing that I was dating. But then as soon as they would say, yeah, that's probably really not healthy, that might not be a good relationship for you, or, that wasn't very nice of him, then I would immediately defend him. Oh, but he had this as a child, and this and that happened, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So think about catching yourself when you do that in regards to money and abundance. Do you write in your journal or say something to yourself about money and abundance that is maybe different than when you're talking to certain people about it? Maybe when you're thinking about or talking about money and abundance with a person who has the same money and abundance situation or similar to you, it's one thing. But maybe when you get on with a coach like myself and you're talking about money and abundance, it's something else. I mean, I have clients all the time who sign up and will say, well, they want to sign up because they want to change their money and abundance situation. Or they sign up because they sign up for the Passion, Purpose, and Prosperity program, where I teach spiritual entrepreneurs to create prosperity through their business. They'll sign up for that, and when they sign up, they might say, yeah, I really want to learn to up my money and abundance situation. Yeah, I really want to learn to, I want to bring in more abundance this year. I want to get rid of my abundance blocks. Yeah, I want to make my first 5, 6, 7K in my business. But then when we're in a different type of conversation, they might say to me, well, I have more than enough money. Or a lot of the clients will say, I'm very comfortable. I have more than enough money. but I want to sign up and work with you because I want or need this, this, and this. And I know better because I hear this all the time. And then what I'll find is a few months into the program, they're like, well, I'm having challenges with this, or I'm stressing over money, or this is the money block I'm working with, or, maybe it's even I'm having trouble making a coaching payment. So what does that tell me? What that tells me is, for a lot of people, it depends on your relationship with money, what your perspective of money and your money situation is. So, for example, if you're living paycheck to paycheck and all of a sudden, like you're able to pay your bills, you're not worried about paying your bills, you have enough for certain things if you make very limited choices and decisions, right? To someone who maybe struggled their whole life and didn't have enough money in abundance, they might say, well, okay, I'm comfortable financially. But then what'll happen is, as soon as their car breaks down, or a pet gets sick, or, they lose a job or something like that, then all of a sudden they're not financially comfortable. So their idea of financial comfort is very different than a person with a wealthy mindset, right? And that doesn't always mean having wealth either. Or a person with wealth, where, to that person, they're not living paycheck to paycheck. They have more than enough no matter what happens. They have savings, they have multiple sources of income, they have multiple ways of saving money. They have enough wealth that their money is circulating and coming back to them. They have their money working for them. Okay? Now, to me, that is a person that can say, I'm financially comfortable. Right? I'm financially secure, I'm financially comfortable. But I do have a lot of clients when they first come to me thinking, well, because they're having enough with their paycheck to paycheck, that means they're financially secure. It does not. It does not. You're not prepared for a rainy day. You're not prepared for this flexibility. If something comes up you want to do, you're not prepared for it. If you find a house you want, you can't just buy it. Okay? So yes, I'm a spiritual, intuitive psychic medium teaching this about money. Yes. Why? Let me tell you why before we hang up, so that you guys can come up with your own whys for today. Okay? Because it's your why that is important. Not my why, not anybody else's why, but your why. And if you don't know what your why is, then you need to dig deeper, because it's in there somewhere. We all come with whys, right? And it is not until your why is stronger than the fear of what you have to do to get out of your comfort zone, to get what you desire, that people typically take action. Right? They might be on a Money Magnet Accelerator event or on a live like this, and wow, they are committed. I'm going to do this. I want to create prosperity from my spiritual practice. I don't mind getting out of my comfort zones. We feel brave about things we're afraid of when we're safe, right? When we know or feel we're safe, or think we're safe. But boy, does that opinion and that choice change when it comes time to put action behind our words, right? So people can say, oh my God, you're right, I need outside help, I want to work with you, I understand that to create wealth, I must invest financially, mentally, and emotionally, and I'm willing to do it. It is so easy to do when you're on the other side of the camera, you're sitting safe at home and you're feeling confident. It is not so easy to do when it is time to sign the contract, pay the money, and say yes to that person that can help get you there. Right? And what you have to consider is the 5% of people who get what they want in the world, who know how to consciously manifest with intention repetitively, are the type of people that go first. They're the type of people that say yes. They're the type of people that get out of their comfort zone. They're the type of people that don't allow conditions to control them and to make their choices for them. They're the type of people that get out of their comfort zone and they walk through that burning door of fear. Okay? Because in truth, my friends, and I'm telling you this sincerely, this is not a sales pitch. I take 40% of people who apply to coach with me, and you have to apply to coach with me. So this is just sincere advice for you. If you have that strong desire to become a master manifestor, to not only learn to manifest what you desire, but to actually also learn to become a magnet to your desires, then you have to start thinking like the 5% that many of you, or many people who don't have what they're wanting, who don't have wealth and abundance, get angry at. Those very people that you or your Misery Loves Company crowd might be thinking, well, the reason we don't have anything is because those people have everything. I used to believe that. That is actually not true. It is a victim mentality to think that. Any one of the billionaires out there, any one of the millionaires and multimillionaires out there had a choice. Even if they were born into it, they had a choice. Step into that initiation of wealth and abundance or not. And the choice is up to you. But we live in a world where when we think it's too hard or we're struggling for what we want, we blame someone or something else for not having it. And I'll tell you right now, if you want to be wealthy and you want to have a successful business, you must, not need to, not should have, not it would be a good idea if, you must step into radical responsibility. And that means understanding what that means. What does radical responsibility mean? Okay? It's absolutely vital. Because until you enter into that initiation, you won't shift fully into that frequency of abundance. Until you activate that frequency of abundance for yourself. It's getting hot out here. You're not going to allow in all that financial wealth that is already available to you. So, what is the number one difference between you and the people that have what you want? Well, first of all, you have to stop believing that you don't have what you want and other people are struggling and suffering because of that top 5 to 3%. Yes, do some people in that top 3% take advantage of other people? Absolutely. But money is neutral, my friends. It's neutral. Okay? Money's created up here. Everyone has the capacity to create it. The money that belongs to a person or flows with a person will reflect that person. So sure, there are people that take advantage. That is why I do this. Because it is high time that those of you who are conscientious, who have an interest in serving the planet and the world, who are intuitive, who are sensitives, who are empaths, who have good intentions, who do not want to walk all over everyone, have money and wealth and abundance. It is high time. This is part of balancing our society. This is why I do what I do, because it is much easier for someone who is not, bound by the conditions they're putting on themselves about being spiritual and serving and being humble and not taking from others, and that are empaths. It is a lot more difficult for those of us to create wealth and prosperity than it is for those people who don't care. So when I teach my spiritual entrepreneurs to create wealth and abundance and become money magnets, it's because, guys, money is just energy. And you become more powerful when you are able to go through that initiation, not because of the money, because of what you went through and turning yourself into a vehicle for that money, because money is just energy. And I learned this years ago when I grew up running all these nonprofits. We always were dependent on the people that had money in order to carry out our purpose and our mission. And we often got the money from people who could have cared less about what happens to our cause. And finally, I thought to myself, no, I need to be one of those people. And then I thought to myself, I had a realization. I need to teach other women, other spiritual entrepreneurs, people who are here to care for the earth, to love one another, to serve and heal, to create joy, to up the consciousness of humanity. Those people need to also learn how to be money magnets. Why? Because we've been going in the wrong direction. Money is not bad. If you have a purpose and a mission, don't you want to have every resource available to you? Don't you realize that as a spiritual community or a conscious community, when we sit back and we say, well, yeah, I'll use this, and this resource, but I'm not interested in that because, all the rich people have it and they just take advantage of people. So be a rich person that doesn't take advantage of people. Hello? This is why I do what I do. What money gives you is freedom of choice, more options, and time. Time is the most valuable thing. It's the thing you cannot get back. Do you think that I have the time or the energy to run an animal communication business and training? Intuitive trainings where I train people to enhance their intuition skills, turn their empathic abilities into superpowers, start their own intuitive businesses, and run a coaching practice, as well as my family, the things I love to do, my horse and animal rescue. Do you think that I would have the time to do all of that if I hadn't overcome the money barriers? Because you know what I used to do instead? Work 7 to 10 jobs. No kidding. Stay up all night and do readings for Keen online. Spend my evenings crying over my checkbook, trying to figure out, oh my God, not knowing if I was going to get a reading the next day or a cleaning job. Figuring out the how and not getting anywhere. I was too busy surviving to have time to do what I do. So if this resonates with any of you out there, if you guys, if you feel a calling, if you're intuitive or you're an empath and you want to learn to turn those empathic abilities into superpowers, they are. If you want to heal your relationship with money so that you're not wasting your life away struggling for and worrying about money, so you can actually live. There's a whole life on the other side of that. This is what I'm offering you guys. This is what I'm here for. And this is what really was reinforced during my technology troubles the last few weeks, last couple of months, few months actually, was to get out there and share all of this in one package with you guys. Just because I'm an intuitive psychic medium doesn't mean I don't teach entrepreneurs to create successful businesses and create prosperity. Why can't I be a whole person? Why can't I be a whole being? Why can't you? Just because I teach mindset and I went to graduate school for psychology doesn't mean I can't be an intuitive psychic. Doesn't mean I can't use my intuition when I'm dealing with a client and we're working on mindset work and they're struggling. In other words, why does one thing have to mean you can't have something else? Why does one thing mean you can't be something else? I love the spiritual feminine side of things. I love wearing beautiful flowy dresses, putting on my eyelashes and makeup. But you know what? I've spent decades of my life doing hardcore martial arts, kickboxing, sword fighting, you name it, over 15 martial arts with Marines. Why can't I be both? We have to get over this barrier of things being mutually exclusive, guys. And I'm big on this right now because this is part of our limitations. This is part of our self-limiting belief system. If you don't have the money in abundance you want right now, you have mindset blocks. Things in the 95% of your mind you are not aware of. If you were aware of them, then you'd have more power over them, because awareness is the first key. You can't do anything if you're not aware of it. So in my Confidence and Clarity program, we work first on creating that self-awareness. Because if you don't gain control of your mind, you're not going anywhere. If you don't awaken your consciousness that is supposed to use your mind as a tool, you're not going anywhere farther. So both the consciousness aspect, which often falls into what we entitle the spiritual aspect, and the mindset aspect are vital. You have to have those components. If you're just practicing one or the other, you're not going to get the results. You might think you do. You might get temporary results, but you're not going to get the results. Okay? So, if you want a gifted spot in the Money Magnet Accelerator, make sure you type money down in the comments so I can message you and get you in there for a gifted spot, because it's limited spaces. Okay, that's June 21st to the 24th. It'll be downlisted in this event. Okay. It's listed in the My Powerful Choices Awareness Network page, Money Magnet Accelerator. I did not go live in there today. I went live in the page here instead. Okay. If you want to be a part of the Awakening Your Intuition program, which will start August 1st, that is for people who want to strengthen their intuition and awaken it and begin to understand their empathic abilities. It is a prerequisite for all of my other spiritual courses. Then you should private message me intuition, and we can set up a call so I can interview you for that program. Okay. This week for your Money in Abundance training, get aware. What are you thinking? Set your timer every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes. What are you thinking? Listen to your friends, families, misery loves company crowd. What are they talking about? Because you're going to be hearing that, and it's going to go into your own self-talk. Okay? And then, ask yourself, does this align up with what I want? Does it line up with who I want to be? And last but not least, take a look at those people that you think are taking from you. Maybe some of them are. Sometimes we have to learn from the people we don't agree with how and what they do in order to achieve that ourselves. It doesn't mean we have to behave like them. I don't take advantage of people to make money. I serve them. I interview people. If I can't help them and they're not a good match, I do not allow them in my program. I do not take their money. Okay? You can be a good, authentic person and still be wealthy. You can do it. Okay? So ask yourself, do you have a poor mindset or a wealthy mindset? Are you thinking, acting, feeling, behaving, believing, speaking like a person that is struggling for money in abundance? If you don't have money in abundance, then somewhere in there, yes, you are. If you're shifting that now, that's fine, because your current reality is the past. So it's the result of what you've done in the past. If you want a new future, you have to change that now. Okay? So whatever you're not experiencing right now, it will boil down to that. So are you now thinking like a wealthy person? How does a wealthy person think? How do they dress? What do they do? What do they believe? How do they think about and utilize money? They reinvest money. You can only go so far doing everything for free and bring the abundance in, guys. You have to at some point invest. You know, I found as my investment up with what I was doing with my learning and my coaching and myself and my business, so did my income. Okay, so assess this for yourself this week. Are you thinking and living like a wealthy person? If you are, then that wealth is going to come into your life. Or are you still thinking and acting like the misery loves company crowd? Because we leave these crowds one person at a time. Your crowd will not all follow you. They will give you a hard time. They will wonder what you're doing, because they're afraid of getting out of their comfort zone too. And remember, only 5% of us do. So, happy Wealthy Wednesday, everyone. Susie, thank you for tuning in. Anyone else who popped on? Yes. Awesome, Susie. Let's see. Yay. Let's see. Oh, you have a question here. Let's see. You shift your mindset from thinking money is the abundant energy to awareness that everything is abundance. That's a great way to do it. Yeah. Money is under the umbrella of abundance. So, you know, money is just energy. It's a frequency, right? It's not a frequency. It's an energy. Abundance is a frequency. And everything that you want falls under that category of abundance. Health, wealth, love, joy. Okay. Abundance is your true nature. So, you know, happiness and sadness are states of mind. They are conditional. They're dependent on outside conditions, and they don't last. Joy, peace, love, abundance, those things are part of your true nature. That consciousness I'm trying to help you guys uncover in your coaching. Your true, authentic, eternal self. So when we shift into the frequency of abundance, as Dr. Wayne Dyer talks about, we are also connecting to our authentic selves. Okay, then the forms in which it manifests in our physical, current manifested lives can come into fruition. Okay, I hope that answers your question. All right, everybody, I'm getting hot. I'm going back in the air conditioning. I'm going to pop over on the Larkin Intuitive Psychic Medium page in a little bit, do readings. If you guys want to come over there, I'll post the link for that page in here. Anyone who tags 5 people and brings them over to the page, I will give you guys a quick online 4-card reading. Everybody else, I'll be doing 1-card readings over there and answering questions about the metaphysical. Okay? You're welcome. Have a beautiful afternoon. Happy Wealthy Wednesday. Don't forget, like this if you find it valuable. Bye, Susie.